So okay, so in today's lecture we'll be dealing with your load flow solutions. So basically, we'll be seeing what are the different load flow solutions they are incorporating in your load flow studies, and why we are going for such kind of load flow solutions we will be seeing. Okay, and initially, first we'll be seeing why it is necessary to go for your load flow solutions. So that is, you already know that your power system is a interconnected complex network. Okay, it is interconnected complex network. It will be attached to n number of buses. Okay, it will be attached to n number of buses, and all those buses will be interconnected with each other. Okay, and so here itself you can see it is a complex interconnected bus system. Okay, one, two, three, four, and then five. So uh, you might be very, it might be very easier to form your y bus in a three bus or a four bus system. So it is a very easier procedure to form a y bus for a three bus or a four bus system. But when it is exceeding your four buses, then the system will be entirely, it's a complex network. So it has to be solved only using your computers. It cannot be solved by the manual calculations. Okay, so why this complexity arises? Why this complexity arises means because the load flow equations what we are generating. So load flow equation in the sense I have already said. So generator power will be equal to your distributed power plus your losses. So this is a load flow equation. Okay, how much power is generated from your generator side, and how much is distributed to your consumer side, and how much is lost through your transmission side is comprised through this equation. It is one of the load flow equation. Okay, so this equation is not a linear equation. So you know about linearity and non-linearity, right? So linearity and non-linearity. So if a system is linear, then the solution converges very fast. It is easier to find the solution for a linear system when compared to a non-linear system. But in case of a non-linear system, if you are using the same procedure what you have used for the linear system for finding the solution, what happens is that your solution will become inaccurate. The solution will become inaccurate, and the system will be a failure system. Okay, and for that purpose only what we'll be doing is that we'll be moving towards some uh, iterative techniques. So these iterative techniques you already might have studied in your numerical methods paper or M3. Okay, the same formula what we have studied will be used as an application. Okay, the load flow studies is one of the application wherein your iterative methodologies are used. Okay, and to arrive at a solution for to arrive at a solution for your what you can say load flow equations, you will be making use of iterative numerical techniques are used. So I no need to tell about iterative numerical techniques. So as you might have studied in your M3 paper, so the entire paper itself will be revolving around such kind of iterative methods only. Okay, so we'll be seeing what are those iterative methods. Okay, so the iterative methods are So the iterative methods are, so the first one is your Gauss iterative method. The second one is your Gauss Seidel method. Basically, they will be saying as GS. Third one is Newton-Raphson. They will be calling this as a NR method. Fourth one is fast decouple. Load flow method. They'll be generally saying this FTLF. Okay. So these are the four methods with which you will be arriving at the solution for your load flow equation. Okay. So how we will be arriving before getting into that, I'll be just recalling what we have seen in the previous class. As I said, there are three types of buses. Three types of buses. First one is your, what you can say it is your load bus or PQ bus. Second one is your generator bus or PV bus. And third one is here, nothing but it is your slack bus. So as I said in the previous lecture, that is uh, as per the load flow analysis, two of the quantities will be given. So what are the quantities means? Voltage magnitude, load angle, real power and reactive power. Among this, two of the quantities will be given and two of the quantities you have to find. So now we'll be seeing what are the quantities that should be given and what are the quantities we have to find. Okay. So specified followed by the uh, obtain. So the specified value will be given. So in the obtained value, you have to find it. Okay. So as per it, the specified value for your load bus is your PQ. So your real power and your reactive power will be given. You have to find your voltage magnitude and your load angle. Okay. So these two you have to find. And then with respect to PV, your real power and your V will be given. So as the name suggests, these two values will be given for your PQ and your PV. And you have to find your Q and your load angle. So coming to the slack bus, your voltage magnitude will be given and the del will be given. You have to find your P and Q. Okay, so this is how the load flow analysis methodology revolves. Okay, so here you can see we'll be moving. So iterative methodology will be seen. So using the iterative methodology, okay, using iterative methodology, that is mainly uh, how you can arrive at the solution will be seen. Using iterative methodology, how you will be arriving at the load flow solution. So that is iterative methodology means the methodology through which all these four will be involving. That is, this methodology is the base for all the four methods. Okay. So we'll be seeing with respect to your load flow. That is your power system. So first, we have already seen with respect to the admittance matrix, the performance of load flow studies in admittance form is in admittance form. So this equation is might be familiar to you. Your I bus is equal to Y bus into V bus. While defining your admittance matrix, we have came across this equation. So as per this equation, this is in the matrix format. Okay, it is in the matrix format, and now we will be expanding this in the matrix format. Okay, how we will be expanding? You just see through it. So it is a I bus. Okay, so just goes up to your nth bus. So I1, I2. This moves up to your nth bus as In. So this will be equal to, will be defining your Y bus. So it is what you can say, this is a single column cross n matrix. Okay, and over here it is y11, y12, followed by y. Here you can take it as y1p. So here I'll be saying what is p. So p is nothing but the nth bus, or the bus in between. Okay, so for the n bus you can take it as y1n. Okay, and here for I1, I2, here you can also take IP. So it is nothing but the in between element you can just take. In between element. Okay. So here y21, y22, y2p, y2n. Okay. Followed by yp1, yp2. So moving towards here ypp, and again moving, it will be ypn. Okay, and still moving, it will be yn1, yn1, followed by yn2, followed by ynp, followed by yn. Okay, so this is your Y bus matrix, and here it is very clear that it is a n cross n matrix. Okay, it's a n cross n matrix, and over here will be, so as per this, you have defined your Y bus, V bus, and now you have to define your V bus. So it will be V1, V2, moving to your VP, moving to your VN. Okay, so now what happened is we have uh, converted this bus equation, sorry, matrix equation into the matrix format. Okay, up to this I hope you might be clear. And after this, what you have to do is you have to multiply inside. You have had some connectivity issues. Okay, we'll be getting back. Yeah. So I hope my presentation is visible. Okay. And now it might be visible. Okay. Now it might be visible. Had some connectivity issues. Okay. So here we are speaking about the IP, right? So here what you can take is at the IP, the bus. What you can see is the load flow solution will be of very optimum, or it will be more efficient. You can consider like that. The EP, IP, YP, and VP, the load flow or the power which is flowing at such kind of bus will be more like that you can take. And if you are considering in that sense means you have to give a particular importance towards this IP, YP, and VP. Okay. So while dealing with the Gauss-Seidel algorithm, I'll be explaining why we are choosing such kind of EP. Okay, because when you are directly getting into the algorithm, it will be very much easier for you to understand. So this is what I'm explaining now is a basic uh, methodology for the iterative uh, process. Okay, so why we are going for iterative process, I'll be saying at the end of this lecture. Okay, so here you can see first our aim is to find your IP.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
so can you explain IP, YP, and VP once again, sir?
Okay, I'll be coming out. So here at initial stage, we are just expanding this bus matrix. Okay, we are just expanding this bus matrix, and after that we are expanding it with the elements. Okay, so here you can see, as I said, for a three bus system, so this you can take one, two, and then three. For a three bus system, your Y bus matrix will be Y11, Y12, Y13, and followed by Y21, Y22, Y23, Y31, Y32, followed by Y33. Okay, so this is for a three bus system. Okay. As I said, if you are getting into the power system network, you'll be involved with n number of buses. That is, more number of buses will be connected. So here you can see I have drawn a fiber system, right? So this fiber system, what happened is that uh, at the load flow might they'll be saying, what they'll be saying is the load flow convergence. They'll be saying, so load flow convergence in the sense at the point of that bus. Okay, at that point of bus, you might be getting a higher value of power generation. It is nothing but um, uh, study some kind of algorithm, right? Like shortest path algorithm, right? So more or less, it is similar to like that. So there is n number of buses, okay, but you have to find the path through which you will be sending out the maximum power. Okay, that is, you can consider like this. This fibers itself you can consider. So over here, from 1 to 3 might be the very good power flowing path. Okay, so why you are performing such kind of load flow studies means you have to find the maximum power transfer path, okay, through some iterative methods. So if this is the maximum power flow path in the sense, if you are connecting the load at this third bus, connecting the load at this third bus, then maximum amount of power can be tapped out from this network. Okay, so based upon such kind of methodology or the load flow, you will be connecting, you will be segregating the type of load. Okay, so if you are in need of very high power in the sense, you will be connecting over here the industrial load. Okay, so such kind of method through which you can find the power flow, best optimum power flow uh, way. Okay, best optimum power flow path you have to find. So for that only we'll be going for some load flow solutions. Okay, and for that now we are at initial stage, we are considering your pth bus, that is your at the pth bus your load flow will be high. Okay, from the first bus across your pth bus your load flow will be high, so that's what we are just considering. Okay, so so with respect to that we'll be seeing your ip yp only, we won't be going for the formulation up to nth bus. Okay, because at the pth bus itself we will be getting a very good power flow path. Okay, here you can see I have said about the third bus, right? So at the third bus itself you will be getting the very good power flow path, so you won't be considering the for the analysis purpose you won't be moving towards the fourth and the fifth bus. Okay, you will be doing across your first to the third bus. So such kind of power flow path can be seen through your load flow studies. Okay, and I'll be moving towards your ip equation. So from this ip what you can just write is your ip will be equal to, you have to just multiply it, that is matrix, you have to form the equation. Okay, so from this matrix how we can form the equation, it is yp1, okay, into voltage v1 plus yp2, that is this value, into your v2 plus it just moves out to be your yp p into your vp, and then you have to consider your nth bus also, because for the analysis purpose. So ypn into your vn. Okay, and over here this equation how can you write means in the form of you just bring this towards at the first point, so ypp just bring forward plus you are just restructuring this equation, yp1 v1 plus yp2 v2 plus this goes up to your ypn bn, and now what you can do is you can have this as a this separately, and this you can just make it as a summation equation. How you can make ypp vp remains the same plus summation of so your q will be equal to 1, but it will be not equal to p because the pth term we have taken out. Okay, in it moves up to your n. Okay, nth element it moves, this goes to ypq into eq. Okay, so this you can consider to be your first equation. So this entire equation is just we just simplified this entire equation. Okay, with the summation operator. And next what we'll be doing is this ip is there, this yp ep is there, so you have to uh, keep this yp vp at a single side, and you have to move this yp eq to your left hand side. So if you are moving in the sense, what happens means your yp p ep will be equal to ip minus summation q equal to 1 not equal to p n ypq eq. Okay, and now what happens, you need the voltage. So voltage you keep it at separately at your left hand side and bring the ypp to your right hand side. So it will be 1 by ypp, and this will be occupied by ip minus summation q1, which is not equal to p, and to n, so ypq into eq. So not e, it is v. So in some book they might be following e also, e also. Okay, and now what you have to do is you have to replace this ip. This ip you have to replace. So this ip, how you can find? So your apparent power. So your apparent power for your repeat bus, it will be ip into your ep. So ep naught you can take. So naught means it is initial value. So ep naught in the sense it is initial value, and this apparent power, okay, that is your sp will be equal to pp, that is your real power, minus of jqp. So it is a generating bus, so hence you will be having this minus, and so this what happens means this ipp will be equal to pp minus jqp. So it is your real power followed by your reactive power. Okay, so now from this equation it is very easy to find your ip. So your ip will be equal to pp minus jqp divided by ep naught. So substitute this over here. So what happens? If you are substituting this IP value over this VP value in the sense, it will become VP equal to 1 by YPP into PP minus JQP divided by EP naught. Okay, EP naught minus of summation Q equal to 1, but it is not equal to P. Okay, not equal to P to N, summation N, and over here ypq into eq. So this is a iterative equation which you can make for iterative analysis. Okay. Uh,
What's the difference between VP and EQ, sir?
sorry. Here it is vq only. Okay. You might be asking vp and vq. You are asking, right? So difference between your vp and vq, right? So here actually EQ I have put, so EQ won't be coming, it is VQ. So here this VQ is a summative element. It is a summative element. If you are expanding, this means with this Q value you will be expanding from 1 to 3, you will be expanding. Okay. So what I am dealing with you is for your reference only. Okay. This they will be not asking in any kind of exam. They won't be asking these things. But for your understanding purpose only, I am dealing with it. Okay. That is. This is the iterative equation. We have arrived at the iterative equation. Okay, this is the iterative equation that you have to use some iterative algorithms to arrive at the voltage, to find the voltage. So here I will be saying This second equation again will be changes to with respect to your iterative format. How it changes means the second equation EP k plus 1. Okay, that is this, you have to consider this to be a future value. That is EP2 you can take. This is your future value 1 by YPP into the same thing PP minus JQP divided by, so this is the initial value, that means the previous value of the future value. So it will be EPK. Okay, EPK minus summation Q equal to 1. Okay, summation Q equal to 1. And here will be this Q will be reaching up to P minus 1 into Y PQ E BQ K plus 1. Okay, and again it will become minus of summation Q P plus 1 N YPQ EQ, sorry, VQK. So here you can see very clearly that if you are going for iterative purpose, the the voltage terms will become two value of the voltage you have to consider. That is your voltage at the future bus and your voltage at the past bus. Okay, so for finding the future value of the voltage, you have to consider the that is at the, for the pth bus, you have to consider the voltage at the voltage value of the future. Okay, for all the buses as well as of the past. Okay, this will be somewhat confusing. So I know that still many might not be clear, but I am dealing with the basics. Okay, this is the basics. While dealing with the algorithm for the Gauss seidel, it will be getting, it will be very clear. Okay, will be somewhat getting the idea what is Gauss seidel. So this equation you just know, because using this equation only in the problems you will be solving it. Okay, so here this k represents your iteration count. Okay, and your q will be taking the value of 1 2 3. Okay, it also takes the value of p minus 1 p and then p plus 1. Why we are representing in such a manner is that we are using the iterative process. Okay, for that only we are to consider p minus 1 p and then p plus 1. Okay, while dealing with the problem you'll be easily understand. So we'll be just putting the iteration count. For example, let the iteration count k equal to 0, then equation 3 will be, so Vp1 will be equal to 1 by Ypp into Pp minus JQP divided by your initial value, it is V. Yeah, okay, so it will be Vp naught minus summation q equal to 1, so p minus 1, so it will be Ypq eq 1 minus summation q equal to p plus 1, okay, to n ypq eq naught. Okay, and this is the equation when your k equal to 0. Okay, and this is a basic equation. You have to consider this is the basic equation that you have to know, very very important equation. And using this equation only, all your iterative methods will be there. So we have seen there will be nearly 4 iterative methods, and among those 4 you will be studying only 3. We'll be studying about Gauss-Seidel, Newton-Raphson, and fast decoupled. We'll be studying. Uh, so just make it clear. So this is the basic equation. From this, the methodology in Gauss-Seidel, Newton-Raphson, and all other methods, it gets varies. Okay, so we have arrived at the iterative equation. While dealing with the algorithm, will be somewhat still more clear. Okay, I'll be stopping the recording and.